Make your voice heard. Join the Council for the Model Aquatic Health Code. Lend your expertise to the MAC, science-based guidance from the CDC and the only all-inclusive national pool code that addresses current aquatic issues. Learn more at cmac.org. That's cmahc.org.
Hell yeah! That's what I'm talking about.
Hey, everybody, guess what today is? It might be Tuesday, although maybe this will be not on Tuesday. We'll have to see. But this is Dan with Kelly for Kelli and Dan talking Pods Poolcast, right, Kelly? I wanted to get that in there before we forget because we always
You
get
did
about
such
a
a
half
good
hour
job
in
doing it
before.
your first time.
Yeah, right. That was shit. Don't lie. That was terrible. But anyway, it's us. We're here, and it's what, mid-June for us right now? Is
Mid-June,
it
yeah.
middle of June?
Yeah.
Oh, is today? When's the first day of summer? Is that today by chance?
Yes, I think so.
Jesus, June 21st for us, although this will air not on June 21st. But anyway, summer has finally made it. And in our market, summer's here. It's today, I think it was like 88, 89 degrees. It's been sunny and dry, way too dry for the entire, well, actually even through winter. So all the grass is brown, like straw, and pools are in full swing, and we're running like crazy. We're having, again, one of the best years, not one of the best year we've ever had, as when we strung through a whole bunch of them in the last decade, and this one has proven itself to be another banner year for us, so that's always good. And with all that, it ends up not being the easiest thing in the world, but we keep plugging through, right?
Yep.
How's it out by you? Is it still kind of cool? Is it warmed
They
up
said
yet, or
that
what?
they said that we're having a cold front this week, so it's been about 80. Still feels like a million degrees when you're standing next to an equipment set with no shade.
Yeah.
So definitely still like crazy busy.
Sure.
So yeah.
Cool. Well, hey, so today I wanted to talk to you a little bit about stuff that's been kind of rolling through, and well, actually for a number of months now, and we've been together for a while and talking to people for a long time, and I know one of your passions is your Pool Girl Pro industry training group that you started, gosh, years ago. What, 3 years ago now?
3 years
3
ago,
years?
yeah.
Yeah, 3 years ago.
3.5 years ago.
Okay, so it's been a while, and
It has been.
it's something that I, when I first met you, it really was I guess it's something that made me connect to you right off the get-go, because for 3.5 plus decades, I've been in this industry and giving back as much as I can give back to the industry, um, because I want to make the industry better. And I've done that through uh, NSPI and APSP and now PHTA, through volunteering my time to help train and give whatever I can give to everyone else in the industry that wants to learn and try and get better. And the Pool Girl Pro group is, that's one of the many ways that you have been giving back out of your sort of own free will as well, giving back to the
Yeah.
industry, and um, for the betterment of the industry, and also for women, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So what made you decide to start that group 3.5 plus years ago?
Like I've told everyone, my friend Janet, she was the original idea person. I just kind of ran with it. We saw that there was a need for women to be able to have an environment to learn and not experience the sexist, misogynistic assholes that we were encountering in the field and at trainings. Now, I'm not saying all of our male counterparts are like that. But it's kind of like, you have your customers who make you, you have that 2% that you're like, I hate customers, but it's really just 2% when you really look at it.
Yeah.
And I think it's the same concept when it comes to our industry, is you have that small percentage that ruin it for the rest of the guys, right?
Sure. And
So
by the way, thank you for not throwing me under the bus there and giving me a little bit of wiggle room and not being part of that group.
we came up with, and believe me, we didn't think it was going to be anything more than something local training we did with one of our manufacturers. It was going to be just, one-time thing. Let's get some knowledge, move on. But we got such great, what's the word? Not acknowledgement, but just people really responded to it really well, and wanted more knowledge and wanted the trainings to happen more. So we're like, okay, well, we'll continue doing that. We'll continue doing that. And we're like, oh, we'll do another one. Well, then we started posting about it on social media. And there's already a pool girl group that Andrea had started. And her group, I felt, was more of that safe space that we could vent, ask questions, about anything in life. And then mine, I was like, okay, let's create a Facebook group for the group so we can advertise the trainings more, get it out there. Acceptance from people in the industry. So we started the Facebook group, and our third training was the one that I started streaming our trainings for the ladies in the group that were in other states and couldn't come to Sacramento.
Cool. That's very cool.
And the thing that I wanted people to understand that sets us apart from even just the two pool girl groups is, with Pool Girl Pro, we want to be that ultimate resource for women, where if they have a question, they can ask in the group. We even had a Discord account at one point where we talk all day, ask questions, bounce things off of each other. But also, it's a place that they can connect with the manufacturer reps. Like, the group does have some males in it, and those are people who are able to give answers to these women that we may not be able to help each other. So, like sales reps, for example, tech reps of the manufacturers. And again, this is where we were going to advertise most of our trainings because we needed kind of a central location. So that's kind of how it all got started. It's great to be a part of this women empowerment movement within the industry that's been going on, if you think about it, for the last 3 years. Our trainings were hands-on, and I mean basic, because that's what some of these ladies needed, was the most basic thing, like how to program a pump, how to wire up automation, how to program it, how to plumb, just those basic things. And so it's been great. Our trainings would have those hands-on aspects. We would have lunch before, as everybody would come in. Usually one of the manufacturers or the supply houses would donate the lunch and the space to us. So there was really not a lot of cost because they were generous with that. After we were done with the training, we'd all go out to dinner so we can network with each other, talk about things, talk shop like everybody else. We would include the manufacturers that were involved in that training so we can get to know them better and they are comfortable with us calling them for advice. And so we really grown from that. And we try to keep those things. Every training is, you have the networking part, you have the hands-on training, you have a place where they can ask questions. And we know the people that run it. So me, and I like to call like the founding ladies, even if they're not helping train, they're helping promote the group to other people. And recently we did our very first training with me and my friend Deb, doing the automation wiring training class, and we taught it. And I love that we were able to start implementing that concept, that our group is organized by women, ran by women, and taught by women. Now, don't get me wrong, we we have in the past and probably also will in the future have men who are educators for our trainings. And that's because they specialize in that. So we had Hasa come, and Terry Arco and Dave Shepard were there, and Terry Arco did a class on, chlorine usage, and we had Hayward come, and we had, the reps for Hayward teach the class for us that are local here. So it's not that we don't ever have men involved. They have a lot of great knowledge. It's just we find the ones that are going to answer the questions that the ladies are asking. And before I ever do a training, like even decide what our topic's going to be, I ask the ladies in the group, like, hey, here are some choices. What would you like? So that they can feel that they're getting what they need instead of somebody telling them this is what you need.
Sure. Well, that's great. And so you that wiring training that you did, wiring up the different control systems. I remember you talking before about it. You had basically all of the big threes stuff there to be able to show first person and hands-on how to do a Jandy system, a Hayward system, a Pentair system.
Mm-hmm.
And
so I've built my relationships with all three manufacturer reps in California, that when I may need to borrow something for a training, they are more than willing to let me use it. So for that wiring automation training, we were fortunate that we were able to have a Jandy RS system there, their trainer that they use for trainings. We were able to use an IntelliCenter, the trainer that Pentair uses at their Pentair training, 2-day trainings, which is really nice because it's wired up to the point. So what's nice about the Pentair trainer was you wire it up. And I mean, we're wiring from the breaker to the relay, from the relay to back to the pretend equipment. Where does everything go, how to cut the wire, how to safely, hey, when you're unscrewing those screws on that relay, hold the side so when you tighten them up, they don't break.
Sure.
Those little tidbits that you're not going to get from the trainings that you get from the manufacturers. But once you had it all wired up, you turned it on, and the lights at the bottom would light up to let you know if you wired that piece of equipment correctly into the automation. And then on top of it, we also had the Hayward Omni system that we were able to wire up. And it's important to me for the ladies to see all three of them, because even though there's similarities, there are little differences. With the Omni Logic, you can wire anything to whatever relay you want. Just make sure you have power going to it, right? But when you do Jandy or in an IntelliCenter, you have to make sure that you wire your booster pump so it coincides with the filter pump relay. You can't do that on a Hayward one, on the Omni Logic or the Omni PL.
So the interesting thing for me is, of course, we send all of our staff, not just our technicians, but virtually all of our 50 plus employees through all the different manufacturer trainings every year. Our technicians go through Pentair, they go through Jandy, they go through Hayward, although Hayward doesn't always offer stuff in our market, unfortunately, but when they do, we do send, as many as we can through it. All of those trainings in our market are limited capacity. They're not without cost. The Jandy training, Pentair training, I think both of them this year was a couple $100 a person. But with that, they're very exclusive to what they're seeing.
Yes.
They go into Pentair, they see Pentair. They go into Hayward, they see Hayward. And in our market, Pentair is predominant, but there are some builders using the other stuff. And on the service end of our business, we work on everything. And when our technicians in the field get out to see a Hayward piece of equipment, for example, they're really not as well versed. We're a Pentair shop primarily, so they're very, very well versed in that. They're fairly well versed in Jandy. It is sort of, it's not really a close second, but there is a decent amount of it in our area. But the Hayward control system stuff is really few and far between. So it amazes me how they go through these sessions and come out, and these sessions are always over the winter. And then when spring hits and summer hits, they get out to do it. They don't understand what you're talking about, the intricacies of the differences between one to the other to the other. And, certainly having your women's group exposed to all three of them, and for you to be able to show how they're similar but yet different. There's got to be a ton of value to that.
Kelli and Dan will be right back after these messages.
Have you heard there is a group of pool service professionals nationwide that are here to help grow and protect your business? The Independent Pool and Spa Service Association, known as IPSA, is here to help you. By joining the largest trade organization created by and for pool and spa service techs, you gain access to industry networking opportunities, exclusive educational offerings, IPSA's Tech for Tech route coverage, and more. So be independent, supported, and part of a professional community. Go to ipssa.com to learn how to be a member of IPSA today.
So the last training you did when you did that wiring, you said that you had that was just within the last handful of months you did that, right?
Yes, we did it in February.
Okay. And Deb, you brought Deb in on that to help out with that
So
session and the wiring and stuff.
Yeah, so Deb is actually she was at the very first training we ever did. Okay. And she has, she's busy just like all of us. And so
yeah, right.
She's always been involved in the trainings and coming to them. And recently she has started helping me more with, getting our name out there when we go to trade shows. And she helped with that wiring training and coming up with something that, we could really see the ladies benefiting from. So it's really nice that she has been getting more involved with everything, because she's, amazing in what she does. So like everyone knows, I'm a Hayward warranty station and one of like the ones that are extremely knowledgeable in it. And Deb is that way when it comes to Jandy stuff. And then both of us know IntelliCenter and Pentair stuff, because obviously, like you said, you have to know all of it in order to have a service company or a repair company. You can't just be like, oh no, sorry, you have Hayward, I can't service your pool until you wipe it clean and start over. Like that's not going to happen. We're in business to make money, so you kind of need to know everybody's stuff. And that's why with our wiring, we wanted to be that diverse about it. Every step we did, we would, go over it extensively, and then we would go over, what is different about the different systems.
Yeah. Very cool. And I'm guessing, much like all of my work through the years with PHTA, you walk out of one of these training sessions with probably $6-8 grand in your pocket. You're paying your bills for the next couple of months and all that from all the money that you're raking in doing this.
My trainings are completely free to the ladies. Yeah. I spend my time for free just doing this stuff, and the reason for it is I grew up being taught that you pay your way forward. So because people took the time to help me, like I've said, like my Hayward rep Nick, he taught me a lot when he was the technical rep. He took the time, I took the time. I didn't get paid for most of it, but I was taught in knowledge. So now that I don't want to say I'm like an expert in everything and I know more than everybody, but there are things I know more than others. And that's where I'm like, okay, well, here you go. Here's a training. This is where it's at. A lot of times we get things donated. A lot of times we get things, spaces provided to us with the manufacturers, donating the money or the space for us. We try. My goal is, if I ever do have to start charging, because there are expenses that will come, is I want it to be as cheap as humanly possible, because I want the ladies to get the most information they possibly can correctly and in a safe place that they feel. A lot of these guys, they'll make comments online when I post about these trainings. And they don't understand the background of why we do it. They just see that they're not able to join, and then they'll say things like, well, if we had those type of trainings, it wouldn't be allowed. It's like, have you looked around the room at your trainings?
Right.
That's pretty much what it
Right.
is.
Well, you know what? I think that is, and there certainly are a lot of guys in the industry that are just, thick skulls, and you'll never get through to them. But when you made the comment to me a long time ago about how many women, when they walk into a manufacturer or other training session to a room full of men, that even if there isn't any outward intimidation, it's intimidating to be
Mm-hmm.
sitting there among a room. And I would have never ever thought of that. And to me, the whole aspect of what you're doing in trying to help alleviate some of that type of scenario that's out there is really just amazing. And and also the other thing that I love is that you've been telling me for a long time that your dream would be to make this group be a nonprofit,
Yes.
so that you have an official status, that and also that it's known that this is something, that is much like PHTA and some of the other associations, that it's done for the betterment of the industry, not to line your pockets. And
Yes. And
by
because I
getting that,
understand that there are going to be costs involved the bigger we grow and the more we can reach in this country. Again, I don't want to have it so expensive for these women to take the classes. So if, as a nonprofit, because it's not for the benefit of me, I'm able to then fundraise to generate those funds to offer these classes as cheap as humanly possible, if not free.
yeah, and that's amazing. And I know, we've you and I have talked some about different ways of going about that, and I know you're still pursuing it. And I know, by knowing you, that you will make that happen. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And I really uh, applaud you to no end for all of that effort and all that you're doing. Um, Now, I also know that with all of this, you recently did a training event in Texas with women. Like, you traveled from California down to Texas to have an event, um, and the event was more than just training, right?
Yeah, so we partnered with another podcast. They offered they wanted to partner with the group for a business class that they offer. It was a business class that I had taken when they first started it, and I saw that there was a lot of benefits for the women in taking that class. So I said, sure, I don't need to take the class because I've already taken it, but I'll come down and everything, no problem. So yeah, I flew to Texas and in and went to the event. But what was interesting was, yes, it started where we're just going to have this business training with X amount of spots for ladies to choose from. But as the event was being developed, there ended up being so much interest that we were able to create a networking event, which I believe there's around 30 women. There was two speakers. It was a really nice event. There was time to mingle and everything before the speakers, get to know one another, talk, have food, and take pictures and everything. And then we had the speakers talk, which I thought both of the speakers were wonderful, had great information that was relating to women. And then the next day was the training for the business class. What was nice was there were spots that were able to be sponsored to help offset some of the costs to the ladies. So that was really cool that manufacturers were able to, contribute and everything. Um, So yeah, that's what we did in Texas. That was like our first, Pool Girl Pro partnership event outside of California.
Across the country, right?
Yeah, it went somewhere else. So
Yeah, very cool. Very cool. And you to travel to Texas, to travel anywhere, as a single mom with 2 boys,
mhm.
not an easy thing to do, to be able to get away from the boys for,
I did
a
luck
few
out.
days.
I did luck out that was a dad weekend,
Okay.
but I had to leave early on Wednesday because it takes a while to get to Texas.
Yeah.
So had to have a babysitter until dad could pick them up, and then had to wake up super early and get a super early flight home so that I could get back in time to pick them up at our designated times.
Yeah. But still, just uh, not something. I mean, you're donating your time
My
and
money.
everything, your money, and
But it doesn't bother me because I want to be there for those initial events in different areas because I want to meet the ladies that are there. Also,
sure.
anybody who wants to help like do this in their areas, go. Then I can answer questions or anything that can help them. So yeah, I don't mind doing that. Like honestly, I go to trade shows not because I'm necessarily trying to find things that will benefit me and my company, but because I'm trying to find things that, will help the ladies and new speakers and new products and, again, be that ultimate resource. I treat my women's group kind of like Switzerland.
Yeah.
Even though I have preferences in what I do, I don't use that when it comes to the women's group.
Sure.
So,
Sure.
because everybody in our industry has different preferences. And so why
Yeah.
not give them the correct knowledge on those different preferences?
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Tune in next week for the exciting conclusion to the Women's Pool Pro training episode on Talking Pools podcast with Kelli and Dan. Same place, same time. Grab your tacos. It's a Tuesday thing.